America. Yes and no. There's not a manual, a hard printed manual, so to speak, but now is a good time to mention some of the uh, tutorials we have. So I will jump right into that. So if I go back to my inputs here, and really throughout the system, you see these green camera icons. If I click on this one, it's going to open up a quick little video that I'll just close out so we don't mess up the audio here. But a quick video. This is a 4-minute video on everything you need to know about purchase price, closing cost, and holding cost. Probably much better than I'm even explaining it here today. But it's a video that you can use. You can stop, pause it, replay, take notes, listen to it while you're actually filling out your data. So it's a great tool to have. Those are everywhere, everywhere in the system. The one in project management and rehab budget's a little more comprehensive. It's 4 or 5 videos long because there's a lot of features there, but most of them are pretty short and sweet. But also, don't get stumped for too long. We're here in support, and that's true if you're light or premium. We're here in support to help. So email us, call us, and we'll try to help you any way we can. And I'll give you those addresses and the email address and phone number toward the end here as well. So I'm going to go back to my deals and go much deeper into the rehab budget on this particular property. Give me just 1 second. My internet slow on me for a second here. There we go. So now I'm going to go back into rehab budget. Sorry for that pause. And now we've got our full budget figured out. This is one I did some homework on and loaded it up. So we've got everything from soft costs, and I'll just go into more detail here now. But soft cost, we are suggesting, our architectural drawings, any kind of permits, maybe some insurances, taxes, things like that, things that aren't directly related to the construction or reconstruction of it. And then hard cost is everything else that you're seeing here. So demolition, framing, plumbing, HVAC, trim and doors, flooring, kitchen appliances, things like that. Really anything you want. Again, this is our suggestion, but this is fully tweakable and fully adaptable to your situation. Whether you want to make it more complex than this or less. But we think we've given you a good start with this particular template that we're going to look at today. You've got notes just to describe, what the line item is. You've got the quantity or square footage quantity. So again, that's all based on the information that we've told it. So we know the house is 1752. If I click more once again, that there's 1,000 square feet of hardwood floors, 300 square feet of tile, 20 squares of siding and roof, and then some test value there that I added. So, again, you can adapt this to your situation. And then a rate will automatically multiply itself times whatever is in here. So, let's say we had to do 2 surveys for some reason. It's a bad example, but if I did that, it's going to automatically, use that as a quantity, multiply it by 300 and do the calculation for you. And just to reiterate, how the separate square footages of certain types of materials go is we'll pick on hardwood floors down here again. We told it that we have 1,000 square feet of hardwood floors, and because of that, it's taken our $4 rate that we've assigned, multiplied it by the 1,000 that we entered up here, and determined that it's a $4,000 budget item. Once again, you can, move items up or down. If I wanted to have my plumbing permit, higher or lower, I can just move them. And if I didn't want to have it at all, I could click the delete record here, and it'll go right away. If I wanted to add a particular, permit of some sort, I can add that here, add notes, put a rate, another $300, put it in the budget there, just add that. If I add a orange plus box, it'll let me actually add a brand new budget group. And then from there, I can add line items underneath that. So it's, again, totally adaptable to your situation. Again, as simple or as complex as you want it to be. You also, especially if you're doing a project yourself, you can click on Show Bids and keep track of up to 3 bids for every line item here. So you can see I've got a few bids in here. A $500 bid on dumpsters, a $600 bid, and a $400 bid. So I've already attached some files here, but to do that, you can attach the actual quote by clicking on the paperclip. And I'll attach that PDF I have, or a Word document, whatever it may be, whatever someone sent you. If you wanted to add a note to that particular bid, you can do so. You might have contact information or any kind of note that you wanted to remember for later. Once you've decided on an amount, we're going to go with the cheapest dumpster, let's say here. You can, select it, put in the amount that you want there. And it's green because I've come in here and clicked on this green circle button here. That's just marking as final. That's just a way to show you that you've made the decision. You don't have to get more quotes. You don't have to research anything anymore. And that's just a visual thing for you there. You can turn off bids by just unchecking that. If you are doing this for your actual project that you're working on, where you're going to be making payments to vendors and suppliers and things like that, you have the ability to mark transactions as well. So if I click on the transactions feature here, you can see I've already made a number of payments over the past couple of months, for drawings and permits. But if I added a new transaction, we're going to say we spent $5,000 on, and when you go into the expense classification, it's giving you the option to assign this to any of your budget line items. So if you want to, you can scroll and click on it, or if you want to start typing it, we'll say we did some fence work. If I start typing in part of the word fence, it's going to find any matches. We'll say it's fencing. If you want to add some notes here, down payment, whatever it may be. And if you do paid to, it'll show you the list of vendors you already have created. So we do save those for you because a lot of times you'll hopefully be reusing them. But you do have the ability to add your vendor on the fly. So I put in, Fencing Pros Company here. When I come out of that field, do you want to add this vendor? We'll say yes, and now it's created that. So we'll say we paid that on our Visa credit card. You don't have a check number per se, but if you had a reference number, you could put that in there on that. And now, if I go back into track, you can see where we will compare what your budget was suggested versus what you've actually paid for those particular line items. So I already, made some payments on permits and things like that. You can see that in general, for building permits, we had a slight variance, $300 there. We had budgeted for $2,000. We've only paid $1,700 and some change, so we're actually $300 to the good there. We do it as a calculation of per square foot, so we're saving 17 cents a square foot on that. And that'll be true, whether you go over here. So we actually went a little bit over. We had architectural and engineering budget of a little less than 3,000, but we spent a little more than 3,000 in the payments that it computed for us, and so we're in the red at 122. So you can use that to not only calculate for this project, where you were off, but then use that to adjust your budget template moving forward. So if you've been behind on a certain aspect, 2 projects in a row, you might want to beef it up for next time, so you plan accordingly. So we use this for reporting purposes, but also for planning, so you can adjust your budgets and do a little bit better job as necessary in the future. You do have the option also to do a fund and draws. And if you're doing a detailed budget, you then have a new field that pops up, and it's which month of your 4-month project. In this case, however long your project is, you'll have the number of months available to choose from. But you'll be able to, select and say, we're going to, do these permits right out of the gate in month 1, but maybe we're not going to do appliances until month 4. And so that way, when you're looking at your cash flow report, you'll have the ability to, instead of averaging out the budget over a certain amount of time, it'll actually do it line item by line item and calculate, how much you will be spending, in month 1, month 2, month 3, and month 4, right down to what you're projecting, and give you a better idea of where your money's going to go and when. If you do have that open, you do have to select a month for each particular line item. So I don't bore you, I'm going to put it back at closing to take that field away so you don't have to watch me click through a number of things. But you do have that ability to really tweak your month by month budget. You can create a note up here, right on for the budget as a whole. If you want to have a scratch pad there, you can also, again, on all those bid features, you can do one for each particular bid. You can see your attachments that we've put here, and if you name them differently, you'll be able to see them here and go ahead and highlight them. Or you could go back into your bids and just click on it here to load it up yourself. If you want to export this to Excel, you can. You can print off, the budget as is, or a blank scope of work, or kind of a scope of work, outlining the budget. So you can print those off in a PDF and then, save it or print it. And we'll touch on templates a little bit more too. So again, what we did is we loaded this single family rehab template, and added some data. Of course, you might have more bids, throughout if you're using this for project management. But you do have the ability to create your own templates again. So if you're starting from scratch on the fly, you can do it from right within a deal. Once you have a template looking right, you can do save as template. But I'm also going to show you how you can manage your templates and your vendors and your checking and bank accounts, all from the management side of things too. So under my deals, if you just hover over it and go to project management, you can click on budget templates, and you've got your templates and then the public ones. You can't modify the public ones per se, but once you load one in a deal and then you save them off, you then have them here for the future. So we'll click on this test from last month for me. You've got this particular template. You can make changes to it. Like I say, let's say you've done 2 projects and you realize that you were behind financially on lumber. Right now is a good example. So you could tweak your lumber budget for a full gut. Instead of saying $4.25 per square foot, you could say it's $7 right now. And you could, modify that, save it, and then the next time you load that template, it'll automatically, have that new budget amount for you, that new rate, I should say. You can start a new deal from here with this template and go right there if you want to, or you can load it from within the deal. And the same thing goes for vendors and payment methods. So now I've got all my vendor lists. We added Fencing Pros just a minute ago. If I want to add more information, you can put in phone numbers, email addresses, contact names. You can search any of these later. So if you have a lengthy list of vendors you've worked with and suppliers, you can easily find them, get in touch with them as you need to. Addresses, what category they may be in. Anything you can put in there, you can always try to search later. So the more you put in now, the better it'll serve you down the road. And finally, same thing here for payment methods as well. I just have a credit card and a checking account, but you could have multiple cards. You can add as many as you want there, and that'll just let you assign your payments on your budget on your budget line items to the correct payment source, just for record keeping.